And whenever I say providence, some people mistake providence with sovereignty. Providence is not a predestined plan that our sovereign Lord has preordained and that everything is going just as he ordained or predestined. That's not what I consider. Some people consider providence that. What I look at providence, whenever I say it's the providential hand of God that's working through the Apostle Paul to bring him from Jerusalem to Rome, what that means is that God is using circumstances providentially and weaving that into his plan for redemption. And it's in accordance with the free will of man. So here we see with the Apostle Paul, he was bound in the Spirit to come to Jerusalem, right? Knowing that chains and tribulations awaited him. And God is providentially working all these things into the circumstances here, with the circumstances, to bring the gospel to Jerusalem. And then in Jerusalem, he's being persecuted. He's being put in chains. And we know that whenever he gets to Jerusalem, he does indeed get arrested. And then he's going to go to Rome and he's going to be persecuted in Rome. And this is God providentially pulling all this together. Now, God is not the one doing this to Paul, but what's happening is God is calling Paul into hard situations, and he is providentially working these circumstances into the plan of Paul, into the ministry of Paul, so the gospel can be brought to the whole world. And so that's what God does with us providentially. He will call us into sometimes really hard things. He doesn't cause those bad things to happen. He isn't causing the unbelieving Jews to beat Paul and almost kill him and arrest him, but he knows that stuff's going to happen. And yet, because he wants his gospel to be spread to the whole world, he's calling the Apostle Paul to do these hard things. And the Apostle Paul is a willing servant, and he's obedient, and he says, not my will, but yours be done, right? My life doesn't matter to me. My desire is to serve God and do his will. And so that's how we see the providential hand of God working in our lives and in the Apostle Paul's life, is he uses in his foreknowledge circumstances that the enemy comes against us. And yet he's weaving those into his plan so that his will be accomplished. It's just like Genesis chapter 50, right? What the enemy meant for evil, God turned it for good. God used that and he turned it for good. God's not the one causing it, but he's using these circumstances for his will. And that's exactly what we see with the Apostle Paul, is he's providentially moving Paul from Jerusalem to Rome.